Hello, homesteaders and preppers, or prepsteaders. All my prepared homesteaders out there. It's actually January still when I'm filming this, and believe it or not, yesterday I was in a t-shirt, and today it is cold again. The weather's a little interesting here. Today I'm building a goat shelter. I want to thank the Pastured Homestead. I actually was doing a YouTube search for do-it-yourself animal shelters, and he posted a video for making a hog shelter, and I looked at it and I was like, wow, that's exactly what I need, just half the size. So I modified the instructions because he gave a list of materials needed, and modified it just a little bit to work for the goats, and I'll show you that right now. The first thing I did was I had to go shopping because and I don't have a lot of money right now, so for me shopping is on the property. So I did go to the barn dominium that is a hot mess still. I needed some 2x4s, and I needed, I think, 4 or 5 of them that were 48 inches long at least, and then I needed 2 pieces that were 65 inches. So this whole loft section up here is getting torn out. We're gonna just have a big open concept. The only enclosed area is gonna be the bathroom. So the staircase, I don't use the handrails anyways because it's kind of janky and I don't trust it. I actually just took all the pieces like this that were here, like this one, but I took these 2 front ones here were less than 48 inches. The rest of them were 48 inches. You can see the one at the top there. I left one at the top. And then that top handrail up there I used for the 65 inches. And then I took a piece of wood right here. It's kind of janky, really bad wood, but there was one piece here that was 66 inches, so I just chopped off a little bit. It actually, if you can see how this was put up on here like this, the one that I took that was right here, it was actually this short, and there's a piece of wood wedged in there, so it really wasn't doing anything anyways. So then I got the wood, I did some measurements. Did some cutting. Got all the lumber sorted. And then I brought it over to the goat pen. And then once in the goat pen, the goat pen too is another thing. It's not the normal goat pen we have, it's the maternity goat pen. We have an area that we're using that is gonna be, it was gonna be a garden, and it's just not a good location for a garden, but it's fenced in, and we had to partition off some of the area in there because there's some flowers that are not good for goats to eat. And we partitioned that off. And then I built the shelter inside that area. And it was a little kind of hard to do by myself, but I got it put together with, I even reused the screws. So all the screws, when I took this apart, were Torx head. And I just reused them. The Torx heads are amazing because you don't strip out like Phillips heads on a torque gun. And then got it put together. The guy in the video, he sided his with like metal siding. My plan is I'm going to side it with cedar siding planks. A lot of the mills out here sell the like seconds or the cutoff pieces that are like the end of the side of the log, and you can get like a bundle of them really cheap. So I'm going to buy some of those cedar bundles next week hopefully, and I'll reside it. But for right now, I needed to get this thing done, and what I had available was a tarp. When we moved it hurts now thinking about it, but we gave away so many building materials. I had brand new 2x4s, 2x6s, treated, untreated. I had plywood, you name it. We couldn't move it. I mean, it probably could have now that I think about it, but it hurt because now I don't have the budget for it. So been reusing as much as I can, which is working out. And then, but I did find a tote we brought that had about 20 or so tarps in it, all brand new from Harbor Freight. So I grabbed one. It was, the shelter was 48 inches wide. So, and each angle side was about 48 inches. So I found a 9-foot one that I could wrap around a little bit and then have some material to tuck around the back. And it actually worked out really good. And it should work short term. So then I got it in the shelter space, and I'll show it to you right now. We'll go there right now. As you can see, the weather, it was supposed to be not rain today, and it looks like it's going to rain here shortly. So I'll show you what we got though for the shelter. Head over there right now. So the two goats that are in there are Rosie and Amelia, both pregnant. Rosie and Amelia, we've milked before and we freeze-dried their milk. For some reason, Amelia's milk tastes really good, and Rosie's milk got a little funky goatness to it. But I'll show you them right now with the shelter. So here's the back of the shelter, and then here is Rosie and Amelia with their shelter. They're not really paying much attention to me because Jenny just fed them some hay. But I will show you the shelter from the other side. You can see where we partitioned off here with hog panels so they can't get into those flowers. And then, as you can see right here on the propane tank, I have a, sorry about that cable. I just bought an adapter to get this cable. When I lower the camera a little bit, the lens is so wide that I sometimes get the cable in there and I don't notice it right away. I've got a Reolink solar camera. It's kind of like our nanny webcam. So you can actually see the opening of the shelter right there. And it's actually cozy for them. The two goats fit in there pretty good. And it should keep them pretty warm. Goats generally only need they don't need the completely sealed in shelter. They can usually have a door open. And our goats have been in really cold weather, so this weather here is nothing for them. So that's their shelter. Like I said, we're going to side it with a more permanent siding, but this tarp should last this season, and then I will replace it as soon, probably hopefully next week actually. I'm a little bit ahead of time. There was a guy down the road tearing down an old trailer or mobile home. I was hoping to get some of the metal from him, from the siding, but I missed a little too late on that. So I want to go show you one other thing though. One of the other things that Jenny did for the other goat pasture was she created some really neat goat feeders. And I'm going to show you those too, kind of as a bonus. So if you're trying to think of goats and you're on a budget like we are, I'm going to show you first we moved a goat feeder here, and we actually bought it at like a farm auction, but Jenny really didn't like it that much. She said it just doesn't work that great. I'll show it to you right now though. It's right here. So this blue one right here, it actually just hangs on like a farm gate. So we had to mount a gate within the fence that we're not even using as a gate. And then if you look at the top here, it opens up and there's metal, kind of like a hog panel type metal in there, and the goats can eat right out of it. But they generally like to bang their heads and knock this thing over. So what Jenny came up with, and I'll show you right here, and Fancy, who's our oldest goat, we call the OG for old goat, she's eating out of the Rubbermaid feeder. And if you look down there, Jenny just cut a rectangular opening on the bottom and then comes in here and just opens the top and stuffs them full of hay. And then the nature of these buckets, these containers, they're tapered. So the bottom is smaller diameter than the top. So even when it rains, they're dry inside. And it works really good. But you probably have to use either the Rubbermaid or something similar because they hold their flexibility even when cold and they don't break. Some of the cheaper cans might break, but as you can see, they just pull out the hay and then they like it. We've got that one over there. This is the one we brought, and then she built another one down here. So this way it keeps them all spread out and they're not fighting for food, and they kind of can eat without worrying about like the pecking order and who gets to eat what. And they kind of just look at Fancy's back over here again. They just keep trading spots and keep, because you know the grass is always greener. So they constantly will just go back and forth, and it kind of gives them some exercise. And you can see we just put them on some cinder blocks that we had on the property when we moved here, used some baling twine, and that's pretty much it. So hopefully that was a little interesting. We got a budget shelter. The goats there are still using that Rubbermaid, the shed, the big herd of goats, but the pregnant ones we've moved so they have their own spot. So they got a little bit more protection, a little bit more, they're not going to be bothered by the male goat. And hopefully we're going to have baby goats here soon. So I'm going to keep this one short because the weather is looking not good, I don't think. It looks like it's going to rain. We just had a few inches of rain the other day, and today wasn't supposed to rain, but it sure does look like it. I'll flip around here so you can actually see behind me some rain clouds, it looks like. Oh, it's cold, and it's actually a lot colder. Like when you saw me building the goat shelter, that was yesterday or maybe 2 days ago. I'm just gonna get out of the wind. Shelter comes in handy for that. I was in a t-shirt, like it was warm. Like the last couple of days I've been wearing a t-shirt outside, and today I had to put, I've got my, a grid fleece sweater, a base layer, and then I put a wind shell on, and I've just got my old military Gore-Tex, just because need that wind protection. But hopefully this was helpful. Like I said, being on a budget, it's tough. If you're thinking about goats or you have goats ready and you need a cheap shelter, and please take a look at the person that I got the idea from has a very successful channel. So, but it probably never hurts to have, if you haven't looked at his channel, it's pretty good. And I'm thankful for that because I was just trying to come up and brainstorm an idea, and just from my previous life, I tend to over-analyze things, and it would have taken me a long time to just come up with a design on my own. I would have over-engineered and been in analysis paralysis trying to come up with, the how to do it. And then seeing his shelter, I was like, wow, that's simple, quick. I could knock it out. And it literally took me about an hour to make. The hardest part was getting the wood, taking apart the old wood from in there. But hopefully this is helpful. And thanks again for watching, and until next time. And man, hopefully it warms up. Okay, bye. I'm gonna end it there. Thanks. Like and subscribe. I gotta support this shirt because it was a gift. I love it.